Malaysia to have first 5G cybersecurity test lab by 2023. Foreign maids allowed to return to Malaysia. Welcome to News at 10. I am Brendan Lepol. Malaysia will have its first 5G cybersecurity test lab by 2023. Cybersecurity Malaysia CSM Chief Executive Officer CEO Dato Dr. Amiruddin Abdul Wahab said the facility to be located within CSM's premises in Cyberjaya will encompass a comprehensive 5G testbed ecosystem. He said the ecosystem will incorporate technologies such as 5G radio access network, edge network, core network, cloud application as well as end-user devices which are equipped with security test tools.
Kita mengharapkan daripada pembangunan makmal ini, kita dapat membangunkan peralatan metodologi pengujian, test tools, test kit, kita bangunkan method testing dan sebagainya untuk pelbagai aspek, hardware, perkakasan, software, perisian, network, core network dia dan sebagainya, dan pada masa yang sama kita dapat membina keupayaan sumber manusia.
He said this after the Memorandum of Understanding MOU signing ceremony between CSM, Celcom Axiata Berhad and Huawei Malaysia today. The MOU to establish the objective of understanding, learning, managing and reducing threats related to 5G security was signed by Dato Dr. Amiruddin on behalf of CSM, Celcom CEO Idham Nawawi and Huawei Malaysia CEO Michael Yuan. Communications and Multimedia Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah had reportedly said that the test lab would be a model for end-to-end cybersecurity, covering a number of scenarios and offering services inclusive of mobile applications and hardware evaluation. The Conditional Movement Control Order CMCO in Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, Johor, Kelantan, Pulau Pinang and Sarawak has been extended for another 2 weeks, while interstate travel restriction will remain in force. Senior Minister Security Datuk Seri Semasa said the extension of the CMCO in Sarawak will take effect from today until 12 April, while in 5 other states starting from Thursday until 14th April.
Walaupun rentas negeri masih tidak dibenarkan, kecuali bagi aktiviti pelancongan dari negeri PKPP ke negeri PKPP melalui konsep Green Travel Bubble menggunakan syarikat dan ejen pelancongan yang berdaftar dengan MOTEX ataupun Kementerian Pelancongan. Walaupun rentas daerah dibenarkan.
He added that the decision was made after a National Security Council special session to listen to a presentation by the Health Ministry MOH on the situation and risk assessment for the 14-day implementation of the CMCO and RMCO in states nationwide. Foreign domestic helpers who have work permits but are stranded in their home countries will be allowed to return to Malaysia to work. Senior Minister Security Datuk Seri Semasa said the decision was made following appeals by the public to allow their mates who had returned home for holidays and became stranded when the government closed the country's borders during the pandemic to return to work.
Ramai yang merayu supaya pembantu rumah dibenarkan dibawa daripada negara sumber seperti Indonesia, Filipina dan sebagainya. Setakat ini kerajaan hanya bersetuju untuk membenarkan pembantu rumah yang mempunyai visa dan terkandas di kampung akibat penutupan sempadan negara untuk kembali bekerja.
Briefing reporters today, he said foreign domestic workers who intend to return to Malaysia must apply through My Travel Pass to get approval to enter the country. The standard operating procedure is that they must be swabbed 3 days before coming to Malaysia and undergo quarantine upon arrival, he said, adding that quarantine costs will be borne by their employers. New COVID-19 cases in Malaysia rose back to 4 digits when 1,133 infections were reported today. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said 5 fatalities were also reported over the same 24-hour period, bringing the death toll to 1,265. A total of 1,148 recoveries were reported during the period, bringing the cumulative total for recovered cases to 344,018 and active cases to 14,199. In a statement today, Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham said, of the new cases, 1,125 were local transmissions and 8 were imported cases, while 161 individuals are still in intensive care, including 76 on ventilator support. Yesterday, new cases dropped to 941, the first 3-digit daily figure since December last year. On the latest deaths, he said they involved local men aged between 36 and 88 who had chronic diseases. Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham also said 9 new clusters were detected, with 5 at workplaces, 3 in the community, and 1 involving high-risk group, that is the Kota Kemajuan cluster in Johor. Minister of the Prime Minister's Department, Religious Affairs, Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Muhammad Al-Bakri is scheduled for Saudi Arabia soon to get details on the standard operating procedure SOP for the coming Hajj pilgrimage season. He said the government would decide on the sending of Malaysians for the Hajj pilgrimage after getting the details on the SOP. Last year, the Saudi Arabian government announced various conditions for pilgrims to perform the Hajj, including the number to not exceed 10,000 people and that they would be screened before arriving in Makkah and Medina. COVID-19 vaccination is mandatory and it is part of the main conditions for all pilgrims who would perform the Hajj pilgrimage in July.
Kolaborasi akan dibuat antara kita dengan MOSTI dan juga dengan KKM, dan secara verbalnya ataupun cakapan umumnya mereka akan beri kerjasama yang baik. Tetapi apabila kita telah dapat keputusan, begitu juga syarat-syarat yang telah ditetapkan oleh kerajaan Saudi terkhususnya berkenaan dengan haji, maka kita akan cuba follow semaksimum mungkin, sedapat mungkin untuk jemaah-jemaah kita.
Dato' Dr. Zulkifli was met after launching a fund by the Kedah Islamic Foundation in Alor. The Kuala Lumpur High Court today fixed 21st of May to hear an application by former Felda chairman Tan Sri Shahrir Abdul Samad to transfer his 1 million ringgit money laundering case from the Sessions Court to the High Court. Justice Muhammad Zaini Mazlan set the date after Deputy Public Prosecutor Natra Fariha Rahmat asked for the court for more time to respond to a notice of motion filed by Tan Sri Shahrir on 23rd March. In the notice, Tan Sri Shahrir is seeking to amend details in his application to transfer his case to the High Court. The hearing for Tan Sri Shahrir's transfer application was initially fixed for hearing today. DPP Natra Fariha said the prosecution received the notice of motion for the amendment on 25th March. Meanwhile, Sessions Court Judge Azura Alwi has also allowed the defence application to vacate the trial dates, fixed for 22nd and 23rd April, pending the High Court's decision on Tan Sri Shahrir's transfer application. On 20th January last year, Tan Sri Shahrir was charged with money laundering by not stating his real income in the income tax return form for assessment year 2013, which is a violation of Section 113, Subsection 1, Subsection A of the Income Tax Act 1967. He failed to disclose the 1 million ringgit believed to be from alleged unlawful activities which he received from former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Razak through a cheque dated 27 November 2013. The cheque was then deposited into Tan Sri Shahrir's public Islamic bank account on 28 November the same year. A tour company owner was fined 8,000 ringgit at the Johor Bahru Sessions Court for submitting a false claim under the government's wage subsidy program last year. The accused Ng Lan Fa, 48, pleaded guilty when the charge was read in front of Judge Dato Ahmad Kamal Arifin Ismail. According to the charge sheet, Ng submitted a document with the lists of her employees to the Social Security Organisation (SOCSO) for the subsidy program, with 2 of the employees in the list not being entitled to the subsidy, amounting to 2,400 ringgit. She committed the offence at Jalan Genuang Kampung in the Segamat district in April last year. Ng was accused of falsifying the documents, which is an offence under Section 471 of the Penal Code and chargeable under Section 465 of the same Act. The case was handled by Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) Deputy Public Prosecutor Suhaili Sapun, while Ng was represented by lawyer Tan Boon Hong. Before the sentencing, Tan asked for a lenient sentence as his client is currently supporting her elderly parents and her business is adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic due to the border closure. Judge Dato Ahmad Kamal then fined the accused 8,000 ringgit or 3 months in jail if he fails to pay the fine. The Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, KBDN HEP, raided 2 factories in Cheras, which were used as a printing centre for counterfeit branded clothes yesterday. Kuala Lumpur KBDN HEP Director Arifin Shamsuddin said the raid, which was conducted following a month of intelligence work, had successfully crippled syndicates selling counterfeit goods in the country. In a media conference today, Arifin said in a 10 a.m. raid, 121 logo molds of various brands, 4,630 clothes and a computer set estimated to be worth around 100,000 ringgit was seized from the 2 premises.
Kita percaya semua barangan yang dicetak ni dijual kepada pemborong-pemborong utama di seluruh Malaysia dan sekitar Lembah Kelang. Dan serbuan ini kita buat kilang ini juga dipercayai telah beroperasi lebih daripada 1 tahun dan didalangi oleh warga asing.
He said a 65-year-old man believed to be the owner of the 2 premises was also detained to have his statement recorded. The implementation of the East Coast Rail Link (ECRL) project is based on economic interests and technical issues and is not politically motivated. Transport Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wee Ka Siong said the decision to revert to the original alignment, which is called the ECRL 3.0 alignment, was to maximize the economic and technical advantages for the whole project and its spillover effects. The minister said the ECRL 3.0 alignment was to complete the formation of the National Cargo Hub in Serenda and increase the efficiency of the Kereta Api Tanah Melayu Berhad KTMB and ECRL cargo services. This, according to him, is important because 70% of ECRL's revenue is from cargo transportation. Datuk Sri Dr. Wee said this in response to an article published on a portal that claimed the construction of the ECRL was politically motivated. The minister further said the National Cargo Hub was to facilitate seamless rail connectivity from Serenda to economic corridors and ports in Peninsular Malaysia, including the Northern Corridor Economic Region (NCER) and Pulau Pinang Port, East Coast Economic Region (ECER), and the Kuantan Port, as well as Iskandar, Malaysia and Port of Tanjung Pelepas. The ECRL 3.0 alignment is also expected to boost new developments and townships, as well as spur commercial activities in relatively new areas like Puncak Alam and Kapar, which have both been designated as future stations for the ECRL. The minister also said that the government would still need to continue the construction of the Serenda bypass despite the building of the southern alignment, because the bypass would immediately resolve the issue of bottleneck and KTMB freight congestion around Kuala Lumpur. A comprehensive transformation needs to be done on cooperative movement in the country to empower and strengthen its roles so as to achieve sustainability in facing the challenges of the 21st century in line with the digitalization era. As such, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said the move taken by the Ministry of Entrepreneurs, Development and Cooperatives to develop the Malaysian Cooperatives Transformation Plan, or Transcom 2021 to 2025, is apt to be the axis of transformation commitment to the cooperative movement.
Saya yakin bahawa koperasi adalah pendekatan yang efektif bagi merangsang pembangunan keusahawanan dalam kalangan masyarakat Malaysia, dan konsep koperasi yang berpaksikan prinsip inklusiviti dan keterangkuman dengan mencipta keuntungan melalui aktiviti milikan bersama adalah bersesuaian untuk diaplikasikan dalam situasi ekonomi negara pada masa ini.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin said this when launching Transcom 2021 to 2025 in Kuala Lumpur. Also present was Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar. Transcom 2021 to 2025 outlines 5 thrusts, 20 strategic steps and 36 programs and activities to steer the development of a more progressive and competitive cooperative movement. Petroleum Nasional Berhad Petronas has announced a new oil and gas discovery in the Sirong Satu Wildcat exploration well located in the shallow waters of the Balingan province, 237 kilometers off the coast of Miri, Sarawak. The Sirong Satu exploration well was successfully drilled to a total depth of 2,538 meters in February 2021. In a release statement, Petronas Vice President of Exploration Upstream Emiliana Rice Oxley said the discovery of significant oil and gas column further validates the potential of the Balingan province, with remaining prospects yet to be explored. Now, this came after similar success in an infill well at D8 infill. She said Petronas was well positioned to pursue a similar play in the other 2 neighboring blocks in the same province, adding developing this block and other surrounding areas remains an integral part of Petronas and its partners' long-term growth plans. The Decimal at KPLB program introduced in October 2017 has recorded 1.94 million ringgit in sales via a number of e-commerce platforms as of 28 February. Rural Development Minister Dato Dr. Abdul Latif Ahmad said to date, 2,000 rural entrepreneurs have been trained under the program to market their products through e-commerce platforms. Dato Dr. Abdul Latif said the ministry is now planning to open more physical stores as additional to 14 existing stores that had been opened in several constitutions. He explained no listing fees were imposed on products to be featured in Desa malls as well as being assisted in terms of product packaging.
Kita jangkakan lebih banyak real Desa mall, bukan saja di luar bandar, tapi kita nak Desa mall ni berada di pinggir bandar dan dalam bandar. Khusus untuk produk luar bandar. Produk orang kampung. Dia boleh beli secara virtual, melalui Desa mall virtual, tetapi dia juga boleh beli secara real di bandar. Maknanya mungkin 2 atau 3 tahun akan datang akan ada Desa mall macam 7-Eleven. Outlet.
The minister was met after the opening of the Desa Mall at KPLB warehouse in Shah Alam today. The warehouse will be used by rural entrepreneurs under the program as a hub for collection, storage and distribution of their products. Warung Rider, a delivery service that is scheduled to begin operations in Melaka this fasting month, is set to offer an alternative for the people in the state to purchase food from the Ramadan bazaars. Melaka Chief Minister Datuk Sri Sulaiman Mat Ali said the platform could help reduce congestion at Ramadan bazaars and at the same time encourage the public to stay safe in their own houses. He said the platform, which involves e-commerce transactions and online payments, could help reduce direct contact among buyers and sellers.
Warung Rider juga akan menjadi official rider bagi semua pasar Ramadan di negeri Melaka bagi menyokong ekonomi usahawan tempatan. Apabila bazar Ramadan ini dibuka, saya dimaklumkan Warung Rider telah pun dilantik akan menjadi official rider bagi semua pasar Ramadan yang terdapat di dalam negeri Melaka. Sebab di dalam tadi adalah kerjasama di antara penjaja, gabungan penjaja dan peniaga dalam negeri Melaka.
He said this to reporters after launching the Warung Rider service under the Warungku program today. He said this year, the program, which was coordinated by the Melaka ICT Holdings in collaboration with Idea Creative Technology Sendirian Berhad, aimed to attract participation from 500 riders in the state and 2,000 riders nationwide. Elaborating, he said the concept of Warung Rider was not solely to deliver halal food, but has been expanded to a centralized delivery service. The Youth and Sports Ministry, KBS, is prepared to help manage the COVID-19 vaccination process for national cyclists Muhammad Azizul Hasni Awang and Muhammad Shafirdaus Sahrum, who are currently in Australia. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Rizal American, Naina American, said the two cyclists who are currently undergoing training in Melbourne could get the vaccination in Australia. According to the minister, most countries provide the vaccination for migrants as being done in Malaysia. However, he said, if after a certain period, Azizul Hasni and Shafirdaus are still not given the vaccination in Australia, they will be vaccinated in Malaysia. Azizul Hasni and Shafirdaus are included in the list of 264 athletes and officials to receive the COVID-19 vaccine injection starting this April. All of them will be representing the country at international tournaments in the qualifying rounds for the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Azizul Hasni, who is also known as the Pocket Rocket Man, has qualified for the Tokyo Olympics in his favorite Kirin event and the individual sprint event, while Muhammad Shafirdaus for the sprint event. The Tokyo Olympics will be held from 23rd July to 8th of August. That concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, Malaysia to have first 5G cybersecurity test lab by 2023. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Till then, I'm Brendan Paul. Stay tuned to saluran Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.